Hello, this is Tom. This is my ASD journey, and this is part 3 of a segment of a series that I'm doing. And we just talked about what did we just talk about? We just talked about the first part, what I call, of this journey, which is where you don't know. It's usually you're not diagnosed, but you know that there's something that's off, something's not right. You don't know what it is, you can't explain it, and stuff just keeps happening in your life, and you feel it, you constantly feel it, and you go through different stages of searching for it and not finding it. And I found, I was 59 when I finally realized what was going on, or at least suspected what was going on. And so that's where I'm at now, is that I had realized that there was a communication breakdown at work, and that it opened up I had to face the fact that it was me, that I could no longer live in denial of all the things that I had learned that I thought I was supposed to deny, and trying to become a person that I couldn't become. And that all came to a head, and I was in crisis, and I reflected back on it could be Asperger's syndrome. Well, it was around Christmas of 2017 that I started doing research on the internet. And at first, it was a lot of dead ends. It was like kids with autism, kids with traits that I know I didn't have, or at least didn't think I had. And so it went slow. The first, no, I think it was actually, from what I remember, I think it was either New Year's Day or very close, a day or two, one side or the other, that I finally knew that I found the answer, that I had of what had been going on in my life. And so if you're at that point, if you've done the basic research and had that moment to where something you read, somehow you have come to the conclusion that that all of these experiences other people are having, the traits, what was very at that point, what I had to search for was that I was expecting to be able to find, I thought autism was this consistent condition, so that person A experiences the same thing as person B, which is what tripped me up before, because I thought my coworker's son was nothing like me. There was a lot more now that I realized there was more I was like him than not. So I got to that point where I said, my God, I found it. And I had suppressed, that was such a psychological impact on me that my heart rate accelerated. I had a sustained heart rate of between, I think it was like 110 and 150 for almost 3 months, day and night. I started developing atrial fibrillations. And what took me to the doctor, or what reason I made an appointment with the doctor, was because of the heart. Like, wow, this isn't good. What's the heck's going on? Long story short, he had the expertise to go, atrial fibrillations for sure, and they're symmetrical. And because of your heart rate not going above 150, actually it was at 150, he said, and he explained it all. He talked about, okay, this is adrenaline related. For some reason you have an adrenaline dump going on. And as he was talking, I made the connection. I go, and like I said, because I have an alexithymia, I don't have good connections between what I'm feeling, if I'm feeling anything at all, and why. So when he said that, I'm going, that's what I've been feeling about the autism. I didn't know it was affecting my heart. So I said, Doc, and I just cried. I said, I have found something that is just, that I think I'm autistic. And he didn't skip a beat. And I don't know if he saw this in me. It's one thing I realized later on in this journey that there's a lot of people that suspected something too. There was more people saw me as I was than I saw me as I was. I mean, I was in such denial that I think I was sort of like, well, that reaction is just normal. That's how people react. And it's not. They were reacting to something I was doing or saying or some social faux pas or whatever. So I got to the point to where, then my doctor said, we need you diagnosed, and he set that up for me. And 6 weeks later, I had a diagnosis. ASD, mild. Actually, she said, she used old terminology, and she said, I would say you're mild Asperger's. I think now she would probably say it's not as mild, because I was still, oh my gosh, I was in such denial. I was masking so much, and I couldn't even admit, I couldn't see. I mean, the only thing I could remember as being some sort of a possible self-stim was as a kid that I remember bobbing my foot a lot, and actually, I didn't know if it was part of it. I was doing some finger stuff too. And so anyway, now I realize I stim all the time, and I'm trying to, as I feel things, lessen, change. That's the next segment. So I did go get the diagnosis, and but I wanted to talk about, is that necessary? Do you need a professional diagnosis? And the answer is only, I think, if one that you are not satisfied with your own self-diagnosis. And that may mean that, and it may mean that you're satisfied, but you may be talking to family and saying, I think I'm autistic. And they're going, you're crazy. You're not autistic. You're not like Rain Man, and you're not like, you're not autistic. You're there's something wrong with you. It's not autism, but you're not autistic. And so if you can go, yes, I am. Now, sometimes that doesn't help. Sometimes people will still go, no, you're not. Whoever did this is wrong. And I know you. You're not autistic. I know what autism is, No, you don't. They don't. So if it helps you in that way, then a formal diagnosis might be worth it. If it helps you for some legal reason, for needing accommodations at work, or maybe it's severe enough that you need to be, you actually are qualified for being disabled. Whatever. Okay. So there are things to consider on both sides. I know people that's all they are is self-diagnosed. I believe them. I have no doubt. I don't think people, even if it is a person who for some reason has some need to identify with being autistic, there probably is something. It may not be autism, it may be ADHD, it may be something else, but I don't, it's the important thing is that a person needs help. A person's hurting. They find comfort in that. And so I don't, so if you're at that stage, there's a lot you can learn. There's a lot you can learn by yourself. It's harder. It's harder to be totally, you can't be objective. You're biased. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it. You may miss something that you really need to know, and you just aren't able to look at it. That's what a professional might be able to do, is see what you can't or don't want to see. So anyway, that at that point, you've at this segment at least, we're going to the point where you are sure now that you are autistic, and what next? And that's what I want to talk about. The next segment is when you get to that point where you go, yeah, I am, or I'm not letting go of this. I really think there's something to this. So we'll go, the next segment, we'll go further on that. So this is Tom. This is my ASD journey, and we'll talk to you in the next segment. Thank you.